If you want financial freedom, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to learn from the people who already built it. I've spent years reading some of the most influential personal finance books ever written. And what I've learned has completely changed how I manage my money, build wealth, and plan for the future. Today, I'm going to share 10 powerful money rules that I wish I knew years earlier. Rules backed by decades of research, tested by millionaires, and explained in simple steps that you can start using today. By the end of this video, you'll have a playbook that can help you retire earlier, eliminate money stress, and take control of your financial future. Rule number 1, live below your means. Learn from the Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. According to research in the Millionaire Next Door, over 80% of millionaires are self-made, and most live in homes worth less than they could afford and drive cars that are several years old. Now, when I first read this book, it flipped the script for me. You are constantly shown on social media the idea of becoming millionaires means being flashy, showing off luxury cars, huge houses, expensive clothes. But this book revealed the opposite. True wealth often hides in plain sight. I remembered a family friend who owned multiple businesses. He wore the same boots for years, lived in a modest home, and yet had more money than anyone else we knew. He wasn't showing off, he was just building himself and his businesses. In our Instagram-driven world, it's easy to fall into lifestyle creep, spending more as we earn more. But if we want wealth, we should be investing more into ourselves and our goals rather than buying the next big thing. Rule number 2, avoid the trap of comparison. Learn from The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. A survey by the American Psychological Association found that 64% of Americans feel stressed about money because they compare themselves to others. I remember a friend buying a new luxury car after seeing someone at work drive one. It seemed harmless until the $1,000 monthly payment started eating away at their savings. This is exactly what Housel warns about. Money decisions aren't just math because they're deeply emotional. Social media makes it almost impossible not to compare. We see curated highlight reels of vacations, shopping sprees, and home renovations that we wish we had. But chasing someone else's life can bankrupt our own. The lesson I took away from this book was that we shouldn't compare ourselves to others as our life situations can be very different. Some couples don't have kids yet and can therefore take more vacations than those of us with kids. Sure, I'd like to fly off and travel the world, but I wouldn't trade it for the love that I have for my wife and kids. I'm happy spending another day at home being with them. And that's not something you'll always see on Instagram. For example, did you know men who have children earned on average 24 to 29% more than single men? This may come from a subconscious need to provide for our children. Whereas, and I'm sure you ladies out there will agree, as single men are usually okay working enough to pay the bills and still enjoy personal time, watching movies, playing video games, and having a social life. Now, before we cover one of the most influential rules, I ask that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free and helps our videos reach more people who can use the help. Now, let's get back to the video. Rule number 3, automate your money. Learn from I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. According to Vanguard, when participants are auto-enrolled in a retirement plan with an automatic increase feature, they typically save 20 to 30% more within 3 years compared with participants who are only auto-enrolled. Before automation, I transfer money into savings when I remembered or when I hit a certain number in a checking account, which often meant not very often. Once I set up automatic transfers to my high yield savings, my savings started growing without me even thinking about it. Now with rising prices, it's tempting to wait until things calm down to start saving. But the truth is, you'll always find reasons not to save unless it's automated. Rule number 4, have a retirement vision. Learn from Retire Inspired by Chris Hogan. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 28% of Americans have no retirement savings at all. When I first read this book, I toyed around with the interesting thought, what if retirement isn't an age, but a number? Hogan tells stories of people retiring in their 40s because they had a plan and enough saved, while others worked in their 70s because they didn't. With pensions becoming rare and Social Security uncertain, relying on the system isn't a strategy. The earlier we take ownership, the sooner we can retire on our terms, not anyone else's. Rule number 5, get out of debt ASAP. Learn from The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. According to TransUnion, as of Q1 in 2025, the average American household has over $6,000 in credit card debt, with interest rates averaging 21.91%. Ramsey's debt snowball method is the idea of paying off the smallest debt first for quick wins and makes the process of paying off all your debts more motivating instead of overwhelming. Now, I personally use the debt Avalanche method, making sure to pay off all the debt with the highest interest rate first because I'm personally more of a math nerd and wanted to reduce the total amount of interest paid. However, it truly comes down to personal preference. With credit card rates at historic highs, carrying a balance is like running a race with a parachute on your back. If you took the same $100 a month payment towards your credit cards and invested it instead into the S&P 500 index, averaging an 8% return, in 30 years, you'll have spent $36,000 of your own money, but receive over $150,000. So tackling debts early will lead to big returns later down the road. Rule number 6, build assets, not liabilities. Learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Kiyosaki points out that most people think their house is their biggest asset, but it costs money each month, so it's a liability. When I understood this, I stopped thinking of my home as a home and started looking for ways to build true assets. Rental properties, index funds, dividend stocks, anything that you like. One thing you won't hear from many financial advisors or real estate agents is that both real estate and stocks have their place in your investing portfolio. Real estate provides not only some solid returns if done correctly, but the depreciation also helps offset other income and capital gains from selling stocks. In this high-cost world we're in, the difference between looking rich and becoming rich often comes down to whether your money works for you or you work for it. Rule number 7, pay yourself first. Learned from The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Have you ever heard something from your grandparents as a kid, only to learn its true worth later in life? Similarly, this 100-year-old book's advice still holds. Save at least 10% of everything you earn before paying bills or expenses. Now, when I started doing this, it felt impossible at first, but after a few months, your lifestyle adjusts. Suddenly, that 10% was growing without me missing it. Here's an example. The average household income for a family here in Waukee, Iowa, is $134,000. If they started investing $1,340 per month for the next 30 years at an average 8% return in an S&P index fund, they will have over $1.9 million. Inflation makes it so tempting to save later, but waiting just delays your financial security. Rule number 8, master the 50-30-20 rule or other similar rules by All You're Worth, the Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan by Senator Elizabeth Warren and Amelia Warren Tyagi. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau lists the 50-30-20 budget as one of the simplest and most effective ways to manage money. 50% needs, 30% wants, and 20% savings and debt payoff. I personally found that adjusting these numbers, like the 65-20-15 or the 70-20-10, works better for people with bigger savings goals. Flexible budgeting makes it easier to stick with long term. It's not about perfection, it's about being consistent. Rule number 9, have an emergency fund. For multiple books, The Total Money Makeover, The Psychology of Money, and I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Bankrate reports that 41% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. 41%. My first emergency was a blown water softener. $900, gone in an instant. If I didn't have savings, it could have gone on a credit card or a HELOC, and who knows what would have happened. Listen, life happens, and an emergency fund keeps small crises from becoming financial disaster. Even having half of an emergency covered is still better than being caught with nothing at all. Of course, $1,000 doesn't cover it all these days, so building it up to 3 to 6 months of your expenses should keep you safe for those big expenses that pop up. Rule number 10, invest early and often. A piece of this is in every book. According to Fidelity, investing $500 per month, starting at the age of 25, could grow to over $1 million by retirement, thanks to compounding interest. The biggest regret I hear from people is not starting sooner. Even small amounts add up if you give them time. Do you remember that graph shown earlier in Rule 7, showing $1,340 per month for a couple to equal just shy of $2 million in savings over 30 years? Here's what it looks like if you started at 20 years old for retirement at 65. 45 years of investing to get to the same $2 million number only requires $379 a month. Waiting for the perfect time to invest usually means you'll miss the most valuable years, the early one. Now, here are the 10 action steps you can take to take your financial situation to the next level. Number 1, figure out your current spending versus income. Then commit to living on at least 10 to 20% less than you make. Bank the difference. This one habit can turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Number 2, before any big purchase, ask yourself, would I still buy this if nobody could see it? If the answer is no, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Number 3, set up automatic transfers from your checking account to savings or investment accounts the same day you get paid. Treat savings like a bill that you have to pay yourself first. This is also a lesson from the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Number 4, use a retirement calculator to find your freedom number, which is the amount you'll need to retire comfortably. Reverse engineer how much you need to invest monthly to get there. Number 5, debt snowball list your debts, smallest to largest. Pay the minimum on all except the smallest and throw every extra dollar at it. Once it's gone, move on to the next one. Number 6, before your next big purchase, ask, will this make me money or cost me money? If it's the latter, think twice. Number 7, open a separate high yield savings account. Every paycheck, move at least 10% there immediately. Number 8, pick a budget ratio that works for your goals. Track your spending for 1 month to see if you're hitting it and adjust from there. Number 9, aim for at least $1,000 as your starter emergency fund, then build it to 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And number 10, open an investment account. Even if you start with $50 a month, the habit matters more than the amount. These 10 rules aren't just theory. They're battle tested by some of the greatest personal finance minds in history. If you have taken any one of these and apply it consistently, your future self will thank you tremendously. And if you want to go deeper into creating a money plan that works for you, feel free to book a one-on-one call with me where we can create a financial plan personalized to your life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.